the North United States. Are Giants in the
Contemporary kind of, or
Wait, give it a minute. Give it a minute,
homo
so people get notified about it. You know, let's chat a little bit, and we're gonna play it in a minute or something because notification it's just going out there right now. And so, where is P-Town? I haven't seen him for like oh, I know, his baby must have arrived.
I bet you're right. I bet he's a dad.
Yep, he's a dad. I think it's the second one. I think it's the second one. He's now a double dad.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think he does already have one.
Yeah.
Wait, no, this might be there. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it's the second one. So may God bless the whole time that he's going through right now. I can't wait to learn how it went. If it's a boy, if it's a girl, I don't even remember. I think it's a girl.
Adam's on here too, and I hope you get to hear Adam talk. I really miss him, man. I hope he starts coming around again now that the holidays will be over soon. But I'm going to go ahead and play this if you're ready.
I am, but I've never heard of Adam before.
Yeah, he's like takes holiday seasons off, and he went away like right around the time you started coming.
Christian, right?
Devanosian.
Well, he was atheist, but now he's a theist. But he's not Christian quite yet.
Okay.
Wow. Ryan, my brother, something looks really nice about you.
What's that?
Well, Lucky's here.
There you go.
No, how's it going, man? You look happy.
Yeah, good. I thought I'd maybe missed the stream, or I didn't know if anything was going on tonight, but yeah, look like you're reviewing a video.
Well, we're just gonna play it until we get some activity and some, lifeblood going.
You know what? Before you play, Ryan, yesterday we had a scheduled Bible study about the mark of the beast, and it was scheduled for more than 2 weeks, I think. So when it arrived, some other stream started at the same hour. They invited one member of our panels over there, and some atheist came in the room because he wanted to ask questions. So we didn't allow him, and we said that we might do it tomorrow. So long story short, we've spent like half a day here waiting for atheists to come in, and nobody's coming. We only see crickets flying around. So that's funny, when we have a Bible study on the mark of the beast, a lot of things are happening. But when you tell them that today is your day, you can come in and we can discuss and everything, they don't have the time. They're busy.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. That should prove what their job is, what they're doing. They don't want to learn. They just want people not to learn.
Yeah.
So that was my intro.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I didn't stay over there very long. It was not really, that appealing to me.
I actually came by after our show to see what happened. And what I noticed is that for the time that you were there, nobody told you even hi.
Yeah.
So I would have left too at some point.
Well, I'll put it this way. I enjoy being over here a lot more.
Yeah, you stayed for 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 minutes or something like that.
I thought I stayed for about at least a half hour.
Oh, really?
I think I did.
I
remember I was folding my laundry while I was in the room. And that takes a little while. And I think I was doing something else before. Yeah, I think I stayed longer than that.
Anyway, it's been quiet. Let's try to stir something up.
Well, Lucky came over to liven things.
We played a couple of videos with my dog baby. and you missed them. But
Oh, you had your dogs on earlier?
yeah, some videos about them.
Oh,
Not much, just one and the song. It was on previous stream. We also have a 15-minute long stream that happened before this one, and don't even go there. We ended it by accident,
oh.
so
Yeah,
it's
I was wondering
gone.
what happened. I got the invite, and I had to do.
Well, you didn't show up, and I don't want to say it broke my heart, but I
Well,
will
I had
say
to
that I
feed
will
the
never be the
dogs.
same.
I have to feed the dogs before I can do anything else. If my brother
Do you
isn't
work
home.
tomorrow, Ryan?
Yes, I do work tomorrow. I'm afraid.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
I'm
bummer.
off. I mean, I have to. Mail gets delivered on Saturdays.
Yeah, and these days are the worst for your job.
What days are the worst?
The holiday, everybody takes
Oh yeah,
holiday,
yeah,
but you.
yeah, yeah. I know. Like, in a way, it's good. I'll tell you, the best week for me or for us is that week between Christmas and New Year's, because just about everybody else is off work that week, and they're not mailing stuff out, and they're kind of exhausted. They all have, they all have Christmas fatigue, and so they're not doing a whole lot, and there's not a lot of traffic. Since everybody. So I actually kind of like that week. It's kind of a week of rest in a way for us mail carriers.
That's the first week of the year.
Yeah, or the last week of this year.
Oh,
The last week of this year is when we can kind of take a break, because, like I said, most businesses take that entire week off, and there's less traffic. There's, people aren't mailing stuff like they normally do. So it's kind of a rest week.
and then it starts again for the Santa Claus part.
Yeah, well, then it's January after that. And
You are the Santa Claus. I just realized that.
I know.
Right?
I know. I've got a little Santa hat. I got a little Santa hat in there that I sometimes will wear it at work. I might wear it tomorrow. I'm glad
I
you.
met Santa.
No hats except USPS.
You know what? I'm going to make an exception. They are going to make an exception for this Santa hat, because I have a coworker who wears a sun hat, and he puts Christmas lights around it, and he wears that during the Christmas season. And I can guarantee you they're not going to tell him not to wear it. He'll say, "I'm going home if I can't wear this hat." So
It's
I'm
good that they
wearing
allow
the
you.
Santa hat. Maybe starting tomorrow, I might start wearing it on the regular. Now I'll dare them to tell me not to wear it.
Look at this video, guys. This has Adam Lore, Mark Reed, Yawsome, P-Town all together. Ryan, you're in it.
That's quite
Stump's in it. Dustin's in it. You know what? Look how old this is, though. Look at our old logo.
Yes, yeah, I see the old logo. What
I
would
think
you
that's
say?
what our logo. That's what our logo looked like. I think when you started doing shows, isn't it?
Yeah, I started in June.
Man, you're one of the originals, Ryan.
It's funny because I thought I was one of the. Well, I guess when you compare me to, I thought I was kind of a newcomer, but I mean, some people have dropped out. Like Adam. Who knows where Adam's been? And
I've never met Adam.
yeah, he dropped out a few months ago, didn't he, Stephen?
Yeah, he takes the holidays off from social media.
It's been longer than the holidays.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since he's been on here.
I've been here for what? Has it been? I think I joined you guys.
I think we looked. It was about 3 months ago, maybe going on 4. And I think that's exactly about when Adam stepped away. I think he stepped away, and then immediately after you came into the picture.
I could be Adam. You never know.
Maybe.
Adam, well, unless Adam's faking his accent, yeah, maybe you could be Adam with faking your
Let me
accent.
hear his accent and see if there's any chance.
All right, let's play a little bit of it. If you guys have any commentary during this, just say something. Don't wait till it's over or anything.
All righty.
I can't remember the actual, sort of title for it, but they were slightly larger and heavier set kind of thing. But sort of compared to modern day Homo sapiens, that they weren't really like what you would consider a giant as such. So if you're talking about 8 feet tall, I don't see any claims that they've been found, even though sort of religious people have been searching. I see claims that they've been found and then destroyed. Whenever you fact check them and actually go into them, there's not a lot of evidence for that, just sort of some conspiracy theories. So really, I'd sort of be asking, like, why would they? I don't see why they would destroy something that could possibly be explained under evolution. I'm not quite sure why.
Well, how would evolution explain that, though? I mean, if you did find a whole village of prehistoric giants, how would you fit them into the timeline?
Well, they would have to be sort of an offshoot of the sort of lineage of Homo sapiens, right? They couldn't be sort of alongside Homo sapiens because we just don't grow that big. So it would have to be an offshoot in some way. And depending on the numbers, there's offshoots of Homo sapiens all over the place. So if they split early enough and had enough diverse features, then you could explain them. If it was the case that they're exactly the same as humans, then you'd have a bit of a problem, except for size.
Well, here's the issue with that, though, Mark, is there are several different Native American tribes that they have found caves with writings about giants. So they apparently would have had to have coexisted with man, regardless of when you place that period of time.
Yeah, that would definitely be a problem.
Okay. Well, thank you for your honesty.
Well, because
and that was my point right there, is that the reason the atheist community and the scientific community also is so opposed to the idea of giants is because they have no idea where they can fit them into the time scale.
We started growing big, and then we changed our minds and went to Homo sapiens.
Yeah, giants really go totally against the evolutionary narrative. They really completely,
Guys, it makes sense.
Turn it on its head, they do.
It makes sense because we realized back then that if we multiply and we are so big, we're not going to fit on the earth. So evolution took its course and made us smaller.
Well, and that's why they hate and will go to great lengths to overlook the existence of very tall beings, if you guys know what I mean, because they have no explanation for them, but the Bible does.
Yes.
So let's listen to just a couple more minutes.
Roamed on the earth.
Yes, they did.
They also have writings about thunderbirds and other sort of things that we don't believe are real either. So are we saying that those things, like whatever they wrote about, is actually real? Are we actually saying that sort of because they wrote about thunderbirds, then our understanding of storm generation is wrong and it's actually caused by massive birds?
That is an interesting point, and that is a fair point. I'll have to give you that.
Can I just chime in for a quick second and
go ahead?
Just say that my daughter is developing an Australian accent by watching way too much Bluey. It's a phenomenon. I know, Mark. You don't have kids, so you don't even know what I'm talking about. Hi, baby. Sorry.
That answers the question we were having
Sorry, I
earlier,
don't know what
Achilles.
it is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't either. Dustin, you have a question, sir?
So, Mark, you're saying that it's a hoax whenever you read about like bones being destroyed. But I mean, when we look at the other end of the equation, say like Peltdown,
You have
Man,
a
for
lot of
example,
background noise, Dustin. It's really hard to make
I'm-
out what you're saying.
I'm really sorry. Give me a second. So, like, if you go to Piltdown Man, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that these hoaxes with Piltdown Man have so much longer legs than the supposed hoaxes of the bones being destroyed?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
So
They
Piltdown Man,
couldn't-
right?
Well, yeah, that was a hoax.
Yeah, but how long did it stand and was publicly verified before it had to be fixed? And then you're talking about the hoaxes where the bones were destroyed. And I mean, I really have to search to find what you're referring to. Why does the Piltdown Man have longer legs and the bones are
Oh,
just
you don't
kind
mean
of
physically? Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's because. Sorry, Dustin. I thought you meant longer legs, as in literally. Why does it have elongated sort of thigh bones and stuff? I do apologize. Yeah. So why does it last longer? Is what you're saying?
Yes, I'm kind of curious. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why is because, and I think that comes.
Consider the possibility.
What's
Something's
you
a
just
fact,
broke your own
doesn't
rule.
it?
So that's. I'm trying to
Our
find
understanding of science, or do you just particularly don't?
That's an interesting question. Usually there's
Trying to find
markers
Adam
on
lore for
bone
you.
growth to show that somebody had gigantism. Their bones grow in certain ways that are sort of have stress fractures and a lot of problems with them.
Okay.
We know this because we've studied the bones of people that do have gigantism.
Also, the calcium and density.
I think I'm not sure if that's one of the markers. Could well be, but they do have markers to show when a person does have gigantism in the past. Yeah.
Do you think that there's anything, Mark, in principle that is like absurd about? I mean, to me, if there was a population of humans that were all 9 feet tall, there's nothing bizarre or crazy. Like there's nothing like supernatural about that. But do you think that there's something about that just defies our understanding of science, or do you just particularly don't see any evidence for believing in it?
Oh, I don't see any evidence for believing in it.
Okay,
and sort of the evidence that has been presented has been things like rumors or a religious conviction or things like that
Right.
I don't.
But what
I
about the
don't
giant
hold-
finger bone I just showed you that I held in
Well,
my own hand?
Yeah,
I mean, it's real.
don't
It's
know.
not fake. I've held it.
No, I get that. But I would have to know that that's human. So I would want sort of a paleoanthropologist.
And Ryan, you know the bone that I'm referring to. It's the one. Well, it's one of the ones that I held at Mary Nell's house. All right, Ryan. So I'm going to continue.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Steven.
Yes.
I can't tell if you're talking live or if you're talking in the video. You talking to me now live?
That's okay. Yeah, I paused live. I was just mentioning to you.
Yeah. I do know the finger you're talking about. Yes.
And we're
Sorry.
about to discuss that. And you just, on the video, you just turned your cam on. So I bet you have something to say about it too.
Maybe. Yeah.
And the
Okay.
name on your name as the dog on the bed controls me. That kills me. All right, let's play.
To evaluate that thing, not just sort of.
Can
Ron
you
Wyatt.
think of any other kind of species that would have an elongated fingers like that with multiple joints that
Yeah.
match a human?
What do you mean by match a human?
well, joints in a finger that are elongated, not hunched over like an ape. I mean, it's definitely
Lots of
human
animals
finger.
have jointed finger bones. That's not unusual in the slightest.
Any of them that match this description?
Well, I mean, match the description. I'm not sure what you're like. Sort of, so the morphology
Would look like
of
this. Yeah.
animals are generally all the same. Even whales have finger bones in their flippers.
Wesley, how are you doing today, man?
Hi.
Hey, how you been?
Oh, okay. Getting ready for dentures, actually. Going to be getting some dentures soon.
Uh-oh. You getting back out into the dating scene, Wesley?
Oh, hell no. I'm through with women for forever.
You're just spending the rest of your day serving Christ, huh?
Well, actually, I did 8 years every day serving Christ on the streets of Chicago, getting tens and tens of thousands of people to television, and now I'm retired now. I sit at home and I write music and record music through the day, and I watch after a little dog over there that I have named Parker Posey. See her over there asleep right there. And
Is she a Chihuahua?
no, she's a rat terrier. She's
Okay.
Hey Parker, you asleep? You wanna come over here?
No. Hello, Wesley.
Hello. What's going on with you tonight?
Oh, we were just going over one of these older videos. We're open. It's open panel night, and anybody's welcome to come on and talk. The title of the show is Last Call. You don't have to go to heaven, but you can't stay here.
Okay.
So you say you're retired now. You said you did your time. You told the vision. And now you're just doing music in the day and caring to your puppy. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the extent of my life. I'm considering building a stop motion animation studio. I have a huge workbench right over here. It's as big as a door. It is a door. And I want to do stop motion animation, and I'm considering trying to build sets and get the little armatures and the camera system and try to create short little fun animated features.
Now, Wesley, I think that's really cool. I've always loved stop motion animation.
Yeah, you can do some really fun things with it. Really, really interesting ideas that I couldn't afford to hire actors and to get.
You could do a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer sequel or something.
Yeah, but with a miniature set, I've built one already and starting. I'm working on a set of. Here's one of the 3D sets that you can see. So this will be used in a small animated set.
Oh, great.
Wesley,
job.
that is so cool, man.
It's cool. I was on the bed and I didn't get that good a look at it, but I'll have to watch it again later.
How long did it take you, and how much does it cost you to make something at that scale?
It's 1/12 scale. Right now, I found a lot of miniature companies that produce miniature things that it's not terribly expensive. That grand piano, for instance, was about $6.
Wow.
But it's getting the color and the paint and the lighting system is still a little bit foreign to me. I don't know how I'm going to get the lamps to actually turn on. I wanted to make it extremely realistic, not hyper real, but fun real. So I don't know anything about electricity and setting up lamps and lights and things like that. So I'm going to have to learn about it.
Can you share some websites in the private chat, Mr. Wesley? I would love to do like a little Proverbs Guy studio.
Well, that's what I want to use it for. I want to use it.
You want to use it for Proverbs Guy Studio? That is so cool.
I want to use it to present biblical stories. Is what I want to do. So.
Oh, that is cool, though.
Amen. Amen.
Through claymation. Amen. All right, well, guys, we're going to continue evaluating a little bit more of this video, and you guys can feel free to chime in.
Yeah, something like claymation, it uses a metal armature where the little costume characters are very stable and have joints that move. Where animation, you have to be careful with clay. The lighting can melt it and make it difficult to keep within a steady workflow.
If that happens, Wesley, just say that it's a Picasso.
There you go. Or a dollar.
All right. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, but you guys feel free at any point to stop and make a comment if you have one. Okay.
And it's, sort of without expertise, it's very hard to tell the difference between a finger bone from a whale and a finger bone.
Would it change your mind at all if I told you that this was found in an ancient grave site? Like a human grave site?
Can you show the picture again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, it definitely looks. If you just see it at first, it looks like a human finger, right? Like,
I mean, it's without a question. But I understand what you're saying.
That's a problem because we don't just look at things and say, well, it looks like a human finger. We'll categorize it as a human finger kind of thing. Yeah, I would definitely want a paleo sort of a paleontologist or a paleoanthropologist to look at that.
And the same thing for this one?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, I don't know how to look at something and say that is a human bone. That's the whole point about some of these discoveries, like Piltdown Man. You can be very, very easily fooled because if you don't have the training, and even if you do have the training, sometimes forgeries and sort of other things can completely fool you. I don't know how. Like if I put a finger bone from a whale and a finger bone from some other animal, could you tell them apart? Like if I put a finger bone from a whale and a finger bone from a elephant, could you tell them apart?
I think if I dug the bone up in an elephant graveyard, I could safely say that this is more likely an elephant bone than a whale bone. Would you concede to that point? And this bone was found in a human grave. So I think that analogy lines up beautifully.
Like I get what you're saying, but what have you actually?
And then he stumbles on and he goes on to another point. But,
he's just basically grasping at straws, like doing anything he can to cast doubt on a human finger, a giant human finger. What if it's really this? Are you sure it's really that way? Well, you gotta have an expert on paleontology. He's just trying to cast doubt in any way possible that he can.
And it's like, let's not follow it to its logical conclusion, right? So if we have a bone from an elephant graveyard, we can safely assume it's from an elephant. But if we find a big bone that looks human in a human graveyard, no, we should not consider it human. We need to have it tested first.
It might be a whale, might be a whale.
You know what, Ryan? I didn't consider that, but you're right.
Yeah, I don't know what to add. I mean, but he does have a point. This alien that got presented recently, a couple of months earlier, about how it was discovered somewhere in Mexico, I think. It turns out that somebody had taken a part of a head of an ostrich, I think it was, and drilled a couple of holes on the back and turned it around and made it look like an alien skeleton. and the fingers were some of the bones were upside down. So yeah, there is a chance to forge that, but things before coming to hands of people who present them do go through some process. Some people do check them out, but then we start asking about their credentials and if they are from an accredited university,
No, it's not just that. I go into a really good argument, and I think it comes up like right now, basically. So let me play just a little bit more, and then I'll pause it again.
Taken this to paleoanthropologists and got them to evaluate it, and if not, why not?
It has been evaluated by 3 different paleontologists who've confirmed that it's human, but they will not come forward because of fear of scrutiny.
Why not? I mean, this would be a incredible discovery. This would be a really incredible discovery.
Right, because all the other times that people have claimed to found this discovery, it was welcomed with open arms.
Uh-huh.
In most cases, I'd say that they were scrutinized by the scientific community relentlessly.
Well, that's what science does. You always scrutinize everything under science. That's the whole point. Mary Schweitzer was scrutinized a whole lot, but she was, she had the facts on her side. So my question is, if these guys have the facts on their side, why won't they come forward? Is it because they fear scrutiny?
What are you doing back there?
If you really did believe that any time the bones of giants were sent in to be scientifically evaluated, they ended up disappearing, and you did in fact believe that you had authentic giant bones in your possession, do you really believe, without a bias, that you would have no issue sending them in to be evaluated and trust that they come back to you?
Yeah, I would have no issue with that at all.
Really?
I don't know why, if you've got the...
Right, sure.
And that's the biggest issue. Oh, why don't you send it to get evaluated? Because it rarely, if ever, comes back. It gets misplaced.
We lost the sample, bureaucracy. We're terribly sorry. Yeah. Oh my God.
I know.
Be right back. Too much rain.
Ryan, you have any comments before we proceed?
Not really. I might have had something and then forgot. I don't know.
If you have a thought, stop on the drop.
I'm trying. Do you know exactly where that? Because I was kind of surprised to see Jeremiah there. I didn't think he'd begun joining us yet, but he joined us before Achilles did, and I did not know that.
I think this is when he was fresh to it. He had joined a few episodes, and then he disappeared for a couple weeks, and then you had talked him into coming, and he was like coming actively.
Yeah, well, a lot of it, his work schedule for a while kept him from coming because he used to work at a car dealership, cleaning cars and stuff, and wouldn't get home till 8 or 9 at night, that kind of thing.
I find it interesting that whenever when Jesus gives somebody to write something in the Bible and it's written and we read it, a word like giant, or a word like kingdom, or a word like temple, that mankind almost always looks at that in terms of flesh rather than spirit. Temple being, that means a building, where temple means a person's body. Kingdom meaning a nation underneath a flag, where really a nation is a group of people. What am I trying to say here? Giant. Rather than think of that as in terms of a Anakim, a larger person, a basketball-sized human being, look at it in terms of spirit, somebody that maybe has a little bit extra in their life. Their light shines a little bit brighter. The giants of our age, the movie stars, the rock stars, the political stars, the people that are at the forefront of the imaginations of the public. Those are giants. Not necessarily a larger than life, physically boned, huge person, but a person that has, Noah would have been a giant of in that he was really at the forefront, that he built the ark. That's what it means in terms of giants, rather than a body that the bones happen to be larger than everybody else.
I don't agree with that. I mean, it could also mean that, Wesley, but I mean, we have found bones of very large people, and the Bible's pretty clear. I mean, it says that when we sent scouts into the promised land, we were grasshoppers to them, and we brought back clusters of grapes that were so big it took teams of men to carry them back.
Well, there was another word for it in the scripture called the Anakim. Noah was an Anakim, and they were taller. Noah was a very tall man. He was probably, if I sat sitting down next to him, his eyes would be at the top of my head.
I agree, Wesley, because he's larger than that. I showed a picture of a finger bone, and this finger bone was found in a very, very ancient burial grave, and it was at the location that's about 2 miles from the real Noah's Ark in Turkey, and it's the ancient home of Noah, and it's a female finger bone. So it's believed to be the finger bone of Mrs. Noah.
Well, the Anakim were a tribe that were known to be larger-bodied people.
I know that. I agree with you on that point. Yes, they were. I mean, a lot of superstition and mythology was built around them, that they had a lot of supernatural abilities, but the height part, I definitely agree with.
I don't know that it was an exaggerated or imagined exaggerated size. It was possibly people the size of what we have basketball stars. The center for the Lakers is, 6'5", 6'7", 7'2". They would have been, something more around that height, maybe even as tall as
I don't know. I disagree. I'm looking at about 12 to 14 feet tall.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
It's quite possible. I don't dismiss that.
Especially before the flood. Before the flood, I believe it could have even been bigger.
But as far as them all being, I think Mark Reed expects some kind of giant that's the size of Goliath, and he's questioning why haven't we found, these body parts that are that big.
Now, I can't recall a scripture verse to validate this, but I know in tradition, Goliath was the runt in his family.
There's another interesting thing about bones, the dry bones. What happened to the 1/3 of the angels that were cast out of heaven with Satan? And I believe strongly that they are the dry bones that Jesus transformed into the shapes of dinosaurs under the ground. That is what became of their physical bodies. He transformed them. He cast them out of heaven, transformed their physical bodies into the dry bones that are the shapes of dinosaurs.
Why? Let me.
What we have is diseases.
I remember that you have this theory that dinosaurs were never real, that they were put together and they were to deceive people from Satan, right? Yes.
They are the 1/3 of the angels that were cast out of heaven.
Why don't you just believe that at one time there were dinosaurs?
Because two reasons. One, that the earth from the time of creation is somewhere around the 6,000 years of age.
I believe we're approaching the 7,000 year, but yeah, we're around the same scale.
Yeah, where Jesus created all this stuff in the 6 days that he said, and when he created it, our scientific measurements make it look. Our inept sophistication tries to convince ourselves through imaginations that it's millions of years old.
You are right on that, my brother Wesley. You are right on that. They are lying on how carbon dating doesn't work, and they are giving us the number that fits their narrative.
I believe there's evidence today of this very thing. Evidence of 2 healed teeth that Jesus produced in every mouth on earth. That were that tooth.
Well, Wesley,
your mouth and looked under a microscope, you could carbon date it and say it is as old as your body is, but it was created in an instant in the mouth.
Wesley, I'm going to go ahead and play just a little bit more of the video. Okay. If you guys have commentary within the next 60 seconds before I stop it again, probably just say so, okay?
Yep.
The truth on your side, what have you got to fear? Do you think that the churches aren't waiting for exactly this thing to back up their claims? Do you think that there's nobody who is a believer in Christianity that could do the evaluation for you? Do you really think that look, there is no evidence to suggest things are disappearing? That is just a conspiracy theory. That's all it is. And when I've looked into this, there is literally zero evidence that anybody is taking these fossils and destroying them, and sort of making sort of accusations because you want this to be true. I think it's kind of insulting to the people that do the work in the field, evaluating this stuff.
Can we get back to my original question? Do you believe that in the fossil record that there are larger things like insects and animals found within that record that do not conform to what we believe they should be growing nowadays?
What do you mean should be growing now?
Well, you said that it goes giants in the past or larger humans. I don't know why we keep going to giant. What size is a giant? 7 foot. You go to the NBA camp, you go see they're giants compared to me. But you're saying that's not normal for now. Everything, men are getting larger now. They're getting larger now, so therefore they weren't larger in the back. That's your reasoning. The way I understand it. So if there's fossil records showing larger insects and animals, yet they're small today, it doesn't show, and they're getting larger, maybe a little bit here and there. It's the same thing. But there's yet a record that I think we would agree that there is a record.
And that's the funny thing. They agree with fossils of every other creation on Earth that's massively sized, but they can't believe the same about humans.
Just as our friend pointed out in the comment section before we watched this, that's exactly it.
That's because, according to their narrative, humans did not exist when all these other large animals existed.
And here's the comment. Right, it was given by Charles like half an hour ago, and I mean, you can't have both. You can't be picky. You either take both or leave both.
If you couldn't be picky, you couldn't have evolution.
True that. I gotta say though, I've said this before. Mark is the only atheist I've met in this vicinity that I could, take my hat off. How do you say that? He's respectful. He does bring good points. There are some fallacies in the points. For example, on this one, he said that don't you think a creationist might pick up the bone? No, it's not creationists that run the tests, So they wouldn't call someone like a friend of Dr. Hoving to say, check this bone if it's from a giant or not. They would not do that. But other than that, he's somebody that you can actually have a conversation with and not get annoyed by insults and the twisting and getting tired. I think it might have to do with maturity. A lot of those atheists think too highly of themselves, but they are actually children.
Yeah, scoffing becomes a giant yan game.
Yeah. But Mark, you know, who will allow you to complete your thought. He will not interrupt you. He's not using sideways fallacious methods, which annoy the other party. So I gotta give it to him. We need to appreciate him for that. But he's still not coming by today. I'm just saying.
All right, let me play another minute or so.
Record of a fossil record of larger animals and insects in the past.
Sure, there's definitely megafauna, and definitely there has been larger insects in the past. Sure, but that doesn't mean that there were larger humans in the past, and you would have to provide some sort of evidence for that claim.
But there was even a larger scale great white.
Just one second. Something we can evaluate to find the truth of that. You're making a lot of these claims that there definitely were larger people, but where is the evidence to back it up? It seems to me, and this is just what it seems to me, is that you've got a religious idea, that a faith-based idea that these people, there were giants in the past. And so any evidence is good enough to back up that claim. And unfortunately, the scientific world and the rest of the world doesn't work like that. We base what we think is true upon the evidence provided, and the evidence provided is nothing.
Well, I never said that they were giant. What does a giant mean? Is a 7-footer a giant in the past? Could it be a giant now? You said people were smaller in the past, right? Napoleon, they were smaller. Know. So during biblical times,
Mark, you do the same
thing. Problem. We're not defining what a giant is. A giant could be 7 foot tall back in the past. Is that unusual? Could people consider people giants that were 7 feet when they were 5? The average height was 5'5", 5'6", so they were smaller in the past.
Adam, make your point.
Yeah, just real quick, I was going to say, Stephen pointed out, like, I thought that you defined it as over 8 feet, right?
I would define 8 foot or higher giant. Yeah.
And that was what Mark was responding to. That was your specific way.
Why are we defining that as? There's no biblical thing that tells us how big a giant is. The only description we have that I know of is of Goliath.
There is tradition.
They were all giants that what the Bible considered giants. Plus, that word we looked up in the Bible, giants didn't mean giants. It was just an English translation. It made like a bad person, evil person, bully. That's what the definition said in Strong. So
yeah, but a bad person or unholy thing. An unholy or bad person doesn't make me look like a grasshopper, Stump. So I'm not sure if that applies. But we'll circle back around. Wow. P-Town, you got interrupted.
No, I was the one interrupting.
Oh, okay. Did you want to make a point, though?
Oh, I was just telling Mark that he does the same thing. I can't remember what it was, though. What were we talking about?
I'd love to know what I'm doing the same thing on, sort of saying, hey, we have no evidence of this happening, and so therefore I think that was
something about your beliefs project what you think that you know. If that reminds
I mean,
where you're going.
I would hope that we sort of agree that the material world exists around us. As far as presuppositions go, I think that's my major one. Sort of that and sort of a logical system, sort of the logical absolutes, my major presuppositions. I don't think I make any other presuppositions, and I sort of, so if you're saying, hey, I'm dismissing Christianity because of my bias towards non-Christianity, I could leverage the same accusation against you for not believing the claims of Islam or Hinduism or any of these other religions, or not believing that Cyclops did roam the earth because the Greeks recorded Cyclops roaming the earth, or the Thunderbird because you've got to buy.
Well, I'm going to depart and leaving you with this. In the Bible, there is a word called the unicorn, and that animal is the rhinoceros.
It's only used in the King James Bible, in the New American Standard Bible, it's more accurately translated like the bull of a oxen.
It's a rhino. It's the rhinoceros. It's what the unicorn is.
Wow. Yeah, but that word again is only used in the King James Bible.
Yeah, that's the only one I read. I hope.
I know. I'm gonna have to send you the NASB, Wesley. A gift from me to you.
I'll be in touch.
All right, we love you, brother.
Take care, brother.
Hart, what was your point?
That what P-Town was pointing out was not something personal towards Mark. When he said you, he meant the other side of science, the side that wants to prove evolution. So whatever they find, they try to match it to their theory, which was exactly what Mark accused Christianity of doing. So now what Mark does is he takes it as it was towards him and says, if you are accusing me of doing that, then I could accuse you of doing the same when it comes to Muslims. So this is where the point just got in the helicopter and flew off. You know?
Right. Yeah. He lost the argument, or at least he gave up, or he was confused. Like he shot a flaming arrow into a crowd.
Maybe he didn't understand that the you was plural, and it was about the scientific side that wants to prove evolution. That includes him.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't catch it, but it wasn't directed to him.
And Ryan, are you there? Mr. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here.
If I don't know if you're watching, it's okay if you're not. But
Well, I was doing other things. I tried to show you my model of the sun sphere, and then the thing fell apart a little bit, and so
I'm sorry.
Oh no!
I'll get it fixed somehow. But I wanted everybody to see that I had ordered a copy of the Tennessee Placation catalog.
Yeah.
And I might order something else out of it, but I don't know. It was really building this model was exceptionally difficult. I started it. Jeremiah worked on it, and then we ended up letting my little 10-year-old friend Liam finish it.
Did you find the pieces that you forgot over Jeremiah's house?
Oh yeah, yeah. I brought them all back here, and this young man that lives on my route, this 10-year-old that lives on my route, he finished it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ryan, this episode that we're watching, and I know we're doing other things, so don't feel bad at all. I'm not shaming you. But it's funny because this is like maybe 3 weeks after you became a host here. And I can tell because I had just taught you how to use the banners. And you were messing with the banners, and the first one was Proverbs guy is going to regret showing me how to do this. And then a little while later, you changed it to when the giant gives you a finger, he really means it.
Is this one where I comment on? Is this one where I said Mark needs a haircut or something like that?
It might be, man. It might be that one.
I think we need more of those banners. Not when it's your show and you have something that you are doing, like interviewing or presenting something, but on other shows, something that comes in your head, just throw it down there. We always love a good.
Yeah, I was having fun with the banners when I first learned how to customize them myself.
Now you know as a host that it can be annoying when people change your banners.
Yeah, it can be. It can be distracting. Yeah.
But you can add as many as you want, guys. I mean, you don't have to remove the previous ones or edit them. You just keep adding, and then
No, I know. But it's like if we have a banner, like he'll be interviewing somebody like Samuel Spoonhour, and he'll have information for Samuel Spoonhour going across the bottom, and then somebody would change it to something funny. And it's like, discretion, guys, discretion. All right, let me play just
another one of these kits or not.
Yeah, unfreeze the video so Jeremiah doesn't look like
Jeremiah looks like he's ready to burst, don't he?
He does.
He looks so shocked.
Did I
He's like,
just
oh, why'd you come into my establishment with such an attitude?
Yeah.
All right, let me play this for another minute or so.
Look, here's a
Remind-
type.
Basically, it's
reminds
Native
me-
American religions kind of.
Oh,
thing.
come
So-
on, Mark. You know what you're doing. Like, let's keep it
What?
simple. Atheists have their biases. Christians have their biases. I mean, it's
I would say everybody
okay.
has their biases.
yeah.
So that's the whole point. The whole point of the methods of science is to try and eliminate bias. It's to try and eliminate it. So
right?
for a start, the peer review process has multiple people look at it from multiple different origins and sort of comment only on the facts of it, comment only on sort of
Yeah, sure.
replicating what they've done. So that's what we're trying to do with science. We're trying to eliminate bias. Science isn't an atheist thing. It's just a thing that seems to be a good method for finding out what's real and what isn't real.
Well,
But, like,
okay, you say that
let's talk
science
about the
isn't
rock
an atheist
discovery.
thing, but that's what they majorly use as a crutch to walk through anything that has anything to do with religion, right? They say, well, we have science and we point to it, and then we pretend as though science is majorly in favor of evolution. I mean, we still haven't proven evolution. Are you willing to stipulate to that fact?
Well, I don't know how you're using the word proof there. Science doesn't usually.
You went there.
things.
You went. Okay, you got me there. You win that one.
Well,
okay,
I was
you win
gonna,
that one.
if you just sort of let me finish, I think that while it does.
That's a very good point, Ryan. Or I mean, whose definition of proof?
Well, he's just tiptoeing around everything. He's just trying to slip through. He's. Oh well, what do you mean by proof? It's just. That's why it really is kind of fruitless. It's sometimes, I think, to debate an atheist because they always have escape hatches, that they can slip through.
Yeah, today on Dr. Hovind's video, creation. What's the name of that atheist? Crybaby.
Yeah.
What is the first?
Crybaby creationist.
Creationist, right? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that he's an atheist. Hasn't he been on here before?
Yeah, he's an atheist.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
People think he's the same as Big Bad Mama. They think they're the same person. I don't know if that's true. Some people think that.
They're similar. Anyway, he said that we have a lot of evidence that dinosaurs and birds have all their organs. They are similar, and there's all this evidence. So at a very quick draw, I just wrote, imagine that, crybaby, capital letters, imagine that, wow, imagination. And he responded, prove to me that they are not related. So I said, I don't have to prove that something is not related. You are the one that has to prove that something is related. I mean, you cannot prove a refute. You have to prove something that you are stating that is true.
Yep. Yep. That double standard.
Keep going, as Ryan said. They just, and then something we went on about something. I told him more about the scales and the feathers, that they are completely different. But he then said we have a lot of scientific papers that prove that they are not different and they evolved from each other, like scales became feathers. So I don't know what to say to that. This is why I actually appreciate people like Mark. You can actually have a 2-hour-long discussion and not feel tired and not feel exhausted. He's respectful. He might be tiptoeing because he's not with the truth, so he doesn't have truth to back up what he's trying to protect and present. But at the same time, he's respectful person to person, and
Yeah, Mark's likable.
Yeah.
And he's welcome on here any night except Bible study nights, and tonight's not a Bible study night. So, Mark, if you're listening, or someone who talks to Mark, atheists can come on this evening. I'm going to play just another minute or so of this, and if anybody has a stopping point, just say stop.
Yeah, before you
Doesn't
do,
have proofs.
I just have to say that if somebody comes in right now and is into a discussion, it cannot be with me, because for me it's
I
like
understand. It's early there.
4:30. Yeah, it's very hard to find the right things to say when I'm just lying back on my chair.
I gotcha.
I need some energy to do it.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to play it.
Like maths, we would have sort of local proof. So things that we would say, hey, the evidence has overcome its burden of proof, if that makes sense. Now, as far as evolution is concerned, it has absolutely been proven, if you will, met the burden of proof so far that it's sort of got a mountain of evidence behind it. Which
There's
is
that.
almost
It depends on how. That depends on
There's
the
that
define
bias.
evolution.
That bias. I mean, you're telling me that science is about scrutinizing the facts, but
Yes.
we haven't proven evolution. But your threshold is satisfied, so I should quit asking.
Okay.
No,
He said
P-Town, go
science
ahead.
can't. He said science can't prove anything, but actually it can prove evolution. That's the summary of
So
it.
I think I can't remember who it was. Was it Popper about what he wrote about science? That because if you take proof to mean it is set in stone and unquestionable, then science doesn't get to proof, because nothing is unquestionable in science. You're allowed to go and say, hey, I don't think the theory of evolution is right. I want to challenge it. That is more than acceptable in science. However,
Try doing that with climate change. Try
Hold on,
doing that
hold-
with climate change.
Hold on, Dustin. Let's try to stay on one topic at a time, to be fair.
well, I mean, the scientific consensus is really what we go with, because that usually is the most reliable way.
Science is not done by
figure out what-
consensus.
Jeremiah, go ahead.
I hate to interrupt and everything, so I'm going to try to get this out as fast as possible. First, if we're looking at proof, I do have a few pictures here. This one is in Mount Blanco Museum. It's the picture of a human femur. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
If we go to the next one, this is the fossilized imprint of a human foot. No other creature on the planet has the same footprint as us. That is a adult human.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this, Ryan, or did you walk away? Ryan had to have walked away because he would have commented on his best buddy.
I'm sorry, I had to go get ice. Can you play that again?
For you, I guess I can.
I had to go. I heard him start talking, and I said, "Ryan, don't you want to hear what Jeremiah has to say?" And then I said, "I gotta have ice. What can I do?"
Well, I think this is going to be the place where he starts talking, because he's got a forced smile on his face and his hand is up.
He's got me, pick me, teacher.
Right. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. All right, I'm going to stop torturing these folks. Jeremiah, go ahead.
I hate to interrupt and everything, so I'm going to try to get this out as fast as possible. First, if we're looking at proof, I do have a few pictures here. This one is in Mount Blanco Museum. It's the picture of a human femur. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
If we go to the next one, this is
Mark
the
wasn't
fossilized
even
imprint of a human foot. No other creature on the planet.
Mark wasn't even looking at the evidence.
Of course. Well, would you want to answer this? I mean, really.
That's obviously fake. It has to be fake because it doesn't fit our narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks like it would be real easy to do with just a chisel.
I know one thing. If he stepped on me, I would be deeply impressed.
I know. I know.
Oh,
Standing next to him, I would feel like a grasshopper.
Did you make that up, Achilles, or did you hear that somewhere? That was funny.
Ken Hovind, it was about
yeah.
Tyrannosaurus or something like that. No, Predator.
Yeah, that sounds like a Hovindism right there. I should have figured.
Yeah, you got me.
I should have figured. That's right up his alley.
All right, my good man, I will play for a little bit later.
Has the same footprint as us. That is a adult human sitting in it, having his foot in it, and talking about evidence and everything. I wanted to point out that we have had proof that a lot of the evolution theories are indeed false, yet they keep putting it in. One that I have with me right now from my 9th grade science test. I have the paper still with me right here. They teach that whales have these little bones that used to be leg bones.
Yeah.
Yet it's been proven years ago that these bones are used for mating, and a bunch of muscles attached to those for mating, that they have no evidence that they ever became from legs. Yeah, I have right here a picture of that very thing being taught in my 9th grade science class back when I was in high school. So they are still.
But Jeremiah, let me
doctrine.
be facetious here for you. Like, it's the scientific consensus that those birthing bones were once used to walk on. It's the consensus of the scientists.
But they have no proof. That's my point.
Yeah. No, it's true, but it's the consensus.
I think it's fair if you sort of let me respond to that. So they're a vestigial structure, and vestigial doesn't mean useless. It means that it has changed in origin. We can see a long line of fossils where these bones have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller leading up to the modern whale. It is not a great stretch of the imagination, not just sort of made up that they're sort of taking this from nowhere. How is it that we have these what appear to be
So
I don't know what he's saying.
Okay, he's talking about that little tiny bone on
yeah,
a whale.
Yeah, I know. But I
Okay.
don't know what Mark's talking about. I know what Jeremiah's talking about, and that's one that we've used many times. Doc Hogan has used the whale bones many times.
He's defending the fact that this is a leg and that we know it's a leg because it's getting smaller. But here's my question, and I wish Mark was here to answer it, to be fair, but why is it only one leg? Where are the other 3 legs?
Well, he would say that the 2 of them are the flippers, and I think there are 2 in the rear.
You're telling me that this gigantic whale was flopping around on Earth with one peg leg?
Yeah, and Stephen, you weren't there when we showed this, which I'm about to show right now, but it's us humans who are stopping evolution, if you think about it.
Oh man. Oh, that is so good.
And you see that flipper over there, that's what becomes a leg, but it has to try first, you know. If you don't get out of the water, how is it going to try to become a leg? The whale will drown if it doesn't have flippers, so it has to get on land first, try to use it, and as it realizes it's useless,
This is exactly what I was thinking about just a little while ago. I'm glad you guys have that. That's pretty funny.
You were thinking about this?
Yeah, because I'd seen it on Facebook either earlier today or yesterday, and I said, "Hey, there's this comment going around. Shows a bunch of people trying to push a beached whale back into the water, and the whale says." And so then I come back after getting my sleep medication dosage. I come back and it's on the screen. I'm like, that's exactly what I was just thinking about. I was going to tell you guys about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how are we ever going to evolve? You people keep pushing us back to the ocean.
I wonder what happens if I paste the link from the browser in the private chat. Will it allow you to download the picture? Let me try. Can you try opening it up? Or it will give you an error. No, it's gonna give you an error because
It's not letting me open it.
yeah, because it says K and that's my hard drive. It should have an IP address over there. So okay.
All right, let me play just a minute or so of this, and then we'll stop again, guys.
Positional fossils of mammals with smaller and smaller leg bones, getting more and more aquatic, and then we have the whale, and this is ordered into the fossil record over a certain amount of time. So they're basing it upon that, not upon just sort of making it up, Jeremiah. I think that's that sort of thing. Now, the Mount Blanco Fossil Museum. Let me address all of your points, because you sort of brought up multiple points. So I don't want to let sort of you go from point to point to point and then move on.
I think that it's important that we address vestigial though.
Well, hold on though. Before we move on, before we move on, let's let Mark respond to each point. After Mark's done, Mark, let me know, and we'll move on to other conversation or follow up.
Yeah, so the Mount Blanco Fossil Museum is run by a guy who says that it is giants against evolution. And he basically has never had these things analyzed in the slightest. He's just put them in his museum and claimed they are human bones. The other one that is doing it is Genesis Park. So the problem is that have they actually been analyzed by people who know how? Because don't forget, Piltdown Man fooled the world for many, many years. Why is it that they won't get them actually analyzed? Is it because they are forgeries? Is that printer forgery? How do you know?
I think it's fair to say that it's more that we're scared if we release our information, you guys are going to destroy it in the process of evaluating it, and then our proof is gone. And that seems to be a common occurrence in many different reports. Also, I think you would have to concede to the point that there's a difference between bias, which everyone has, and an extreme bias, which I think evolutionists have, because when the ancient Norse, the ancient Israelites, the ancient Greeks, the ancient Hindus, and other multiple cultures around the world all tell stories, even the Native Americans, about giants, to go out of our way to say they never existed, I don't know. I think that's kind of arrogant. Not that you're arrogant, but I think that's a little arrogant.
So
who was it that said that the Native Americans, when they greet each other, they'd have their hand up to show that they only had 5 fingers? Who was it? Was it you, Stephen, that said that?
I've heard it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is how they would greet each other.
I didn't say that. I've never heard that, but that's really interesting.
I heard it somewhere. I thought I heard it on here on this channel.
That might be a fun fact that Dustin knew.
Maybe it is. Maybe Dustin's the one that said it. I cannot remember who said it.
I definitely heard it here because I heard it too recently, and this is where I've been recently, you know.
So I can't remember exactly who said it.
No.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, let's continue forward, gentlemen.
The only bias in science is to methodological naturalism. So we can't start with any assumptions that are based in the supernatural. And there's a very good reason for that. So as long as it is part of the natural world, then the bias will be to finding whatever it is physically that is the truth. That's it. Sure. There's this whole idea that there's sort of scientists, scores of scientists out there trying to change things and distort things and stuff like that. It's just a conspiracy theory. I'm really sorry you guys were told this and believed it, and you still believe that there's this, you know, cadre.
Well, not
of
just
people
us.
out
These
there.
are ancient conspiracy theories, apparently, that were so popular they reached around the world.
Theories. Yeah, they're still just conspiracy.
He's like, I'm sorry you guys believe these conspiracy theories. I really am. I'm like, well, not just us. These are ancient. These are ancient conspiracy theories, apparently, that were believed around the world.
Oh my God.
These ancient conspiracies that were spread all around to these different ancient cultures.
Yeah, my homie. These are not 2023 problems, okay? These are ancient world mysteries, my friend. Oh man. All right, let me play.
There is no like group of people trying to put down.
Do we have any examples of ancient peoples writing about conspiracy theories? I understand mythology, but specifically conspiracy theories.
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know of any sort of writings about paleoanthropologists in particular. I know that sort of there's a lot of mythological sort of writings about things. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Grayson, you unmuted.
I was just going to say there are a tremendous amount, like the Rape of the Rhine. They made up all sorts of conspiracy theories to make their historical opponents look terrible or to make them look like lesser humans. So yes, there are a tremendous amount of conspiracies recorded throughout known history. And
well, I agree with that.
Weed out these lies to get to the truth.
I agree with that. And
Achilles, just to let Achilles know, that is not Ben Shapiro. It sounds like him, but it's not him.
Right.
I wasn't.
I mean, as soon as I heard him talk, I looked up and I said, "Is that Ben Shapiro? Who is that?"
I actually know who it is, and I don't see him on the panel. And I wasn't looking because I am searching for a part that talks about carbon dating. So is that Grayson at the bottom?
Yes, that's Mr. Grayson.
Yeah. So it's Rex. It's Rex.
Yes,
right?
Rex is Grayson.
Yeah, Rex Brave, yeah.
Yeah, I know his voice.
This would have been just before he uploaded something that caused us to no longer have him here. Must have been just before that.
You're right, man. You're right. Man, a lot changes in a year.
I mean, a lot changes in 6 months.
Oh, you're right.
A year ago, I wasn't around here.
I kind of think, guys, and I'm noticing this as we are watching this, what has happened is that, oh, hello. The arguments are over. So make up your mind, guys.
Me and Ryan. It was me and Ryan.
We were trying to add her at the same time.
Two guys fighting at the door at who's going to open up for the
It's my cousin and it's Ryan's future missus. Yawsome, I don't know if you can talk or if you're still at work.
Excuse me? Hold on, wait a minute. I'm taking applications for my future husband, but I have not accepted any for the position, okay?
Hey, that's all Steven. Hey, that's all Steven, Yawsome.
All those applications have to go through the patriarch of the family, which is me, coincidentally. And I'm only going to be accepting one application, and that's from Mr. Ryan. Or Achilles.
Yeah, no, I think I value my creator's opinion above yours. Sorry.
I know, but the creator wants you to listen to your patriarch, and I'm going to either give you with Achilles or Ryan.
Achilles
is too far away. When my patriarch has his own house in order, he can worry about my house.
It is, and that's why I want to give you Ryan. Ryan is a gift.
Oh, so you're married and settled down with your new wife, starting your family, right? Oh, okay.
Well, you know that part is briefly on hold, and that's not really my fault.
Focus on thyself, cousin.
All right, I'm gonna go hit up a courthouse, and then I'll get back to you next week. How about that?
Yeah. All right. How about that?
All right. Bet.
Show me.
Ryan, I think it's going to be a yes. We just got to give it time.
Ryan,
Okay.
it's nothing against you. My cousin just gets so out of his way.
Well, one of us is going to have to move.
I think she would be willing to move from Lake Wales because Georgia is beautiful.
I'm going to Tennessee or Missouri. Sorry.
Well, he's real close to Tennessee,
Yeah,
and he
you
actually
just
travels to
mentioned
Tennessee like
Now, if
twice
you
a
said
month.
Knoxville, then I might be willing to move too.
Your next option is Greece. So
Okay.
I've always admired Greece, but I do not want to live there.
Yeah.
And
I
see,
just want a
Ryan,
vacation. I'll take a vacation house in Greece.
now Ryan's been trying to move to Tennessee, so But let me play a. Go ahead,
I
Ryan.
haven't really been trying to, but if my brother marries his girlfriend, I might be forced to do something.
You would too. You'd move to Tennessee.
Well, let me put this very clearly. I am not yet the woman that will attract the man that God is sending to me because I have more work to do on myself first.
Amen. I can't fight you.
We can't wait until we're perfect because that'll never happen.
No, but you do need to be able to get into the resort by dressing accordingly.
Yes.
I hear you, cuz. All right, let me play another minute or so of this video, folks.
All right.
Egypt is a perfect example of that. Egypt was known for distorting history in favor of them to make them look better. That's exemplified with the Hittite battle.
I think a lot of nations do. I think a lot of nations do distort history to make them like history is written by the victors. I mean, I can point to the Tudors who had Shakespeare write Richard III to say that Richard III was this hunchback, horrible person, evil and stuff, where we found through historical records that he was nothing of the sort. We've found pictures, paintings of him, and he wasn't a hunchback, and he wasn't all the things that were
He is the one that had like 6 or 7 wives killed, though, right?
No, that's Henry Tudor, not Richard III.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So Henry Tudor wrote or commissioned the plays and commissioned all of these writings that we sort of now know to be a bit propagandary, sure. And I'm not saying that conspiracies don't happen, but we've got to have, like, the problem is if you believe conspiracies without evidence that they are in fact conspiracies.
Ryan, I don't know if you're watching, but you just plugged Bucky's Nuggets.
What? Do what?
You just plugged Bucky's Nuggets?
I don't know what that
means. Okay, can somebody break down the topic?
I know what you mean. I just put it in front of the screen. Yeah, the Bucky's Nugget. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're reviewing a video where we were debating giants with an atheist, and he was saying that giants never existed and we have no proof of it, and we were debating the fact that there's lots of proof of it and they keep misplacing it.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm with you.
All right. Let me play a little bit more.
Then in order to be intellectually consistent, you would have to believe any rumor coming your way. We need to have a certain amount of evidence to think that there is actually a conspiracy in the works, or else to me it seems like bias if you're just saying, well, here's a conspiracy, there's not a lot of evidence behind it, but I believe it because it backs up my faith or backs up my opinion on this or backs up my opinion on that.
Well, to be fair, though, it's not just me that believes it. It's the ancient Norse, the ancient Israelites, the ancient Greeks, the ancient Hindu, and Native Americans.
And not that there's a conspiracy.
True.
Are you talking about believing in giants, Stephen?
Yes.
So I guess in the modern day, couldn't you just take a picture of all of your evidences and then take pictures of you giving your evidence to someone? It just seems fairly unlikely that you could get rid of solid evidence in a world with as much recording and information gathering as we have now. It might have been possible in a long time ago, I'll give you that. But currently, if you really want to say, here's some evidence, it's never going to be destroyed, it seems like that's possible.
That's fair. Do you think there's maybe possibly still some PTSD in the Christian community, though, from previous times when that may have occurred? So we would still be skeptical of trusting the scientific community with our evidence again?
Just further to that, sort of just to sort of back up what Grayson said, like the Vatican has a science department, and religious organizations have science departments, ones that For instance, BioLogos is a science site with sort of very experienced scientists on board. And I disagree with their religious beliefs, but as far as science is concerned, they are definitely reputable, because they do not allow the religious bias to influence their scientific credibility.
Well, you're also like supporting the same people that persecuted people like Galileo.
Did you pause? Oh, you stopped it?
Happen. I'm going to tell you a little story. As I tell the story, I will brainwash you. Maybe you've never been brainwashed before. It's a harmless procedure. Don't worry about it, okay? When I'm done telling the story, I will ask you 2 simple questions about the story. If you know the answer, I just want you to raise your hand, okay? If you don't know the answer, it will be because you have been successfully brainwashed. Now pay attention. Here goes the story. Once upon a time, a man left home jogging. He jogged a little ways and turned left. He jogged a little ways and turned left. He jogged a little ways and turned left and jogged back home. As he was jogging home, he noticed 2 masked men waiting for him at home. Who were the masked men, and why did he leave home jogging?
I know this one.
Don't say it out loud.
Can you pause it?
Number 6. Ooh, okay. The rest of you, pay it.
I mean, Achilles may not be as familiar with a particular subject.
Oh, I have watched all Ken Hovind.
Oh, okay. So you know he's talking about
like hundreds of times.
I know
so
Steven knows this one.
I even know the next words that he's gonna continue.
Okay, so you know that they're talking about the picture. I mean, the catcher and the umpire. Okay.
Yeah, but since we posed, I will say that I didn't think that this is what our brother Lupin chose to respond with, because what I'm looking for, and I thought I had it in one of my recent videos and I can't find it. One of them is called The Lying Religion, and it speaks about evolution, but I can't find it in there, which is how we have sent specimens for carbon dating, and they give us different dates, but then it has a note and says same specimen with number 715, and then if you go to 715, which is right above, it gives a completely different number. So for one specimen, they give different numbers, and people call themselves scientists and they don't notice that.
Right. I'm about to have to get off of here just because this month. You know what? Here's something that happened today, if you don't mind me sharing.
Go ahead.
Well, I was delivering. I first started the route, and I started to get a little sleepy. And I started yawning, and I said, okay, come on now, wake up. And I was about to take one of those driving energy, little chocolate squares that have, I guess they've got caffeine and stuff in them. And I got to the house of that family that have befriended me, the one where the son made the Sun Sphere model. And the kids are outside, and I'm talking to them and stuff. And I have not told them that I'm sleepy, but one of them says, hey, Ryan, Mr. Ryan, you want some coffee? And I said, yes, I would. And this is the second time this family has given me coffee when I have been sleepy. So I'm trying to avoid being sleepy on the route.
Definitely.
Kind of dangerous being behind the wheel and sleepy at the same time. That's two things that don't make a good combination. So
window helps if you open it up and you get your head a little bit outside on the window.
Well, remember, when I'm delivering the mail, I have to have that window down. It's the only way I can get to put the mail in mailboxes.
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't get out of the car, true.
But maybe I can put the other window down. I don't know, but
I don't know. I think you have the appropriate amount of windows down, Ryan, in this cold weather too.
Well, yeah. It's actually been kind of, to me, the weather that we've been having lately, Stephen, has been good winter type weather where it's cool, but it's not like frigid. I mean, it's like 30s in the morning, 50s in the afternoon. It's just
You
kind of
sellout Yankee.
Hey, I might be from Florida, but I have become a Georgia boy. I'm sorry. I would love to visit. I'd love to visit Florida. In fact, I plan on visiting them at the end of February. But I don't want to live there ever again. You know what I'm saying? I want to live in a place that has seasons.
I hate admitting this, but as another native Floridian here, I really enjoy living in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where I'm located, is so, in relation to friends that I've made in recent times, I'm 4 hours from DAL. I'm 3 hours from Knoxville. I'm 5 hours from Thomasville. So it's a pretty centralized location where I am. And, I'm pretty well entrenched. And plus I've been on my route now for 13 months, and I've really gotten to where I really enjoy it. And I love the people that live on it. So I guess I'm going to hopefully end up staying here for a while, unless the Lord really, really pushes me somewhere else.
Okay. Well, let me play the rest of this 3-minute Kent Hovind video, and then we'll get back to the Giant debate.
Then I'm probably about to say goodbye.
Oh, yeah, you can drop out whenever you have to, Ryan.
Okay.
We might end up closing stream soon in 2.
There are viewers, there are people in the chat, so if anyone wants to jump in, they can, because I will also be leaving. I feel so exhausted today.
Let's just call it a wrap here, guys.
No, let's play this and see what happens.
Attention. We're going to try it again. Okay. Once upon a time, a man left home jogging. He jogged a little ways and turned left. I'll give you a hint. That's important. He jogged a little ways and turned left. He jogged a little ways, turned left, and jogged back home. As he was jogging home, he noticed 2 masked men waiting for him at home. Who were the masked men, and why did he leave home jogging? Anybody new figure it out? 2 more. Okay. The rest of you, pay attention. We're going to try it one more time.
Because he's not.
But now I'm going to unbrainwash you. So you didn't realize it, but I had you brainwashed in the first 3 seconds. I'm going to unbrainwash all of you now just by showing you a couple of pictures. I'll tell the same story word for word, but watch the pictures. You will feel yourself get unbrainwashed. It's the coolest feeling. Are you ready? Here goes. Once upon a time, a man left home jogging. He jogged a little ways and turned left. He jogged a little ways and turned left. He jogged a little ways and turned left and jogged back home. As he was jogging home, he noticed 2 masked men waiting for him at home. Who were the masked men? The catcher and the umpire. You say, Brother Hovind, is it that easy to get brainwashed? Oh, yeah. You see, as soon as I said a man left home, you started thinking about a house.
Yep.
And you were off track. And once you get off track, it's pretty tough to get back on. Would you like to see how kids get brainwashed in your school system by the millions every year? Millions of kids in America every single year get brainwashed, and it's so simple how they do it. They put the kid in kindergarten. He can't even read yet. And they give him a book like this. I can read about dinosaurs. Would anybody like to just take a wild guess at what the first sentence in the book says? Millions of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid's being thrown off track in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
How many kids are being taught that in your town? Like all of them. That's called.
Well,
yeah. I will say that riddle is slightly misleading, just because he's not really. You wouldn't say he's jogging. You would say he's running. But, just a little nit.
I was thinking the same thing, Ryan. Jogging was the running. Still, though, the first word from home, you're misled anyways, though.
Yeah, he left home. Well, it is true that he did leave home.
It's true, but my thought was automatically a house.
Yeah, it's worded in such a way that you think it's a house. I mean, there's other ways that you could word it that would make it more obviously a baseball reference. But you know.
Well, also it starts off with a man, but if it had started off with a player, your next immediate thought you'd be looking for home, and you would associate that with home plate.
Yeah, but I just think that the biggest mislead is the fact that it says jogging
instead of running.
Yeah, because a jog is sort of in between a walk and a run, whereas when you're a baseball player, he's running as fast as he can run.
The only baseball player he could be referring to is Babe Ruth.
Oh, because he didn't run very fast.
Well, he was a very large man, but also he hit so many home runs, he just had to like prance around until he got back to home
Well,
plate.
if you hit a home run, I agree.
Right.
If you hit a home run, you can jog.
Yeah.
And he did, but you know what? He earned it.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm gonna head on out of here, guys.
All right, man.
Maybe we'll touch base tomorrow.
All right, brother.
Y'all have a
All right,
blessed
sounds like a
evening.
plan.
Have a good rest, my friend. See you tomorrow.
All right.
What do you got here, Achilles?
Yeah, let's check it out.
How long is it?
As long as we want, but
Because I am really getting tired now.
yeah, no, it's the point is at the beginning, but you know, it
Then
can go, you know.
let's hit at least the point.
Yep.
The numbers out of the clear blue sky. Textbook says over millions of years, the Colorado River carved the Grand Canyon from solid rock. Oh, now hold on a second, okay? It's a fact, Grand Canyon exists. I've been there a bunch of times. I taught earth science for 15 years. I love studying Grand Canyon. There are two interpretations of how it got there. Slowly, with a little bit of water and lots of time, like, you know, billions of years. The creationists will say, no, it formed quickly by lots of water and a little bit of time, like a big flood in the days of Noah. And the guys who believe in evolution are always trying to erase the line between their interpretation and try to include it as if it is part of the fact. No, it's just your interpretation, guys, okay? It's a fact. The Earth has many layers of sedimentary rock. That is just a fact. You can see them all over Tennessee here. How'd they get there? Well, there are two interpretations. One group says the layers formed slowly over millions of years. The other group says, no, these layers are all from the flood in the days of Noah. And again, they're always trying to erase that line between the two and make their interpretation become part of the fact. And it's just not, okay? It's just their interpretation, that's all. The geologic column is actually the Bible for the evolution.
You want to pause for a second, Achilles?
I have to correct myself.
Okay.
When you talked about Babe Ruth hitting homers, I thought about the riddle again, and I said, you know what? The only way that he's going to go to all three bases and then back home would be if he hit a homer, in which case he could jog. Yeah. So I stand corrected. I corrected myself.
I love you, Ryan.
Well, I didn't want to leave with people thinking, oh, wait a minute. If the guy could jog, if he went to all three bases and then home without stopping, then obviously he had a home run. So I stand corrected. Yeah, he could easily just jog.
However, it says man instead of player, and it says jog instead of run. Well, I guess. Oh,
but he is a
right.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a man. I mean,
You're right. It would be after hitting a home run.
Yeah. So
the Babe Ruth
corrected.
effect.
Otherwise, he would have met others on his road. He wouldn't just see the two masked men.
Yeah,
right?
You're right. He would have. Others would have been trying to make him stop running.
Yep.
Okay. Good night, y'all.
Good night, Ryan.
He couldn't go to bed, without fixing that,
God love him. God love him.
I'm gonna say it again. Not that we don't know that, but
Find it is in the textbooks. It's just their interpretation, that's all. The geologic column is actually the Bible for the evolutionist. The only place you'll ever find it is in the textbooks. It doesn't exist. This guy admits it. He said, if there were a column of sediments, unfortunately, no such column exists. Did you know there is no geologic column? If there was, it'd be 100 miles thick.
It doesn't exist. It's one of the lies in the textbooks. And actually, all of evolution is based on this lie right here. This is one of the most serious ones, in my opinion. It's true the Earth has layers. That's not the question. Okay? How did they get there, though? I mean, if that layer sat there for 10 million years waiting for the next one, don't you think it's going to rain once in a while in 10 million years? Why are there no erosion marks between the layers? Why are they stacked on top of each other just like a stack of pancakes? And by the way, why are there no soil layers between the rock layers? I mean, soil builds up on top of rock. Don't you think there'd be some soil built up once in a while? Look, if you get a jar of dirt and rocks and gravel and sand and mud and shake it up and set it down, it settles into layers for you in a few minutes. It doesn't take long. How many seen those things you buy at the mall with 2 pieces of glass and different colored sand in between? You know, you flip it over and it makes all kinds of layers just in a few seconds. It doesn't take long. I was preaching years ago in Union Center, South Dakota. Now, Union Center is right there. It's not even on the map. And South Dakota puts everything they can find on the map just to kind of fill in the white places, you know. Well, there were 40 people in the whole town. 38 of them came to church. Other 2 must have been pulling a calf, I reckon. I don't know. But boy, we had a great meeting, and the preacher said, "Hey, Hovind, let's go down to Rapid City. They've got a bunch of dinosaurs in the museum there." I said, "Oh, all right, I like dinosaurs. Let's go." So we all drove down to Rapid City. We came to this museum, and a guide met us at the door. He said, "Hey, folks, would you like me to give you a tour?" We said, "That would be great, sir." Well, the first place we stopped on the tour was the geologic time chart. They have it lit up, and it's behind glass, and it's holy and sacred. Don't dare touch that thing, you know. So we're standing over there, and the guide said, "Now, folks, this layer of rock right here is about 70 million years old." And it's so cool because they always get that sanctimonious tone in their voice, you know. 70 million
years old. Oh. Well, my daughter was 12 years old at the time. She raised her hand. She said, "Mister, how do you know that layer is 70 million years old?" He said, "Honey, that's a good question.
We tell the age of the layers by what types of fossils we find in them. They're called index fossils."
And by the way, that's correct. That's what the textbook says. Scientists use index fossils to determine the age of rock layers. She said, "Thank you, sir." We walked around the other side. We're standing over here, and the guide said, "Now, folks, these bones are about 100 million years old." My daughter raised her hand again. She said, "Sir, how do you know those bones are 100 million years old?" He said, "Well, honey, we tell the age of the bones by which layer they came from." She said, "Sir, when we were standing over there, you told me you knew the age of the layers by the bones, and now you're telling me you know the age of the bones by the layers." She said, "Isn't that circular reasoning?" I thought, wow, a chip off the old block. That guide had the strangest look on his face. It was almost as if he were thinking. He looked at my daughter. He looked at me. I wasn't about to help him. I thought, wow, this is going to be good. I have got to hear this. He looked back at my daughter. He said, "Wow, you're right. That is circular reasoning." He said, "I never thought of that before." That fellow drove 50 miles one way that night to come hear me speak in Union Center, South Dakota. The crowd swelled to 39. We set up a chair in the aisle. Afterwards, he talked to me for an hour. He said, "Hovind, is everything I believe about geology wrong? I teach this stuff at the college." I said, "Oh, no. I like geology. I've got a huge fossil collection, rock collection, mineral collection. I teach earth science. I love studying geology." I said, "But as far as the layers being different ages," I said, "Yes, sir, I'm sorry. That is all baloney. It's based on circular reasoning." I'll show you. Here's a textbook that tells the kids to date the rocks by the fossils, and on the very next page, it says date the fossils by the rocks. On the next page, and they don't catch it. It's a lie. It's circular reasoning. The intelligent layman has long suspected circular reasoning in the use of rocks to date fossils and fossils to date rocks. The geologist has never bothered to think of a good reply, feeling the explanations are not worth the trouble as long as the work brings results. It cannot be denied from a strictly philosophical standpoint. Geologists are arguing in a circle. The relative ages of rocks are determined by the organisms they contain. They date the rocks by the fossils and the fossils
by the rocks. Ever since the beginning of the 19th century, fossils have been and still are the best and most accurate method of dating and correlating the rocks in which they occur. Apart from very modern examples, which really are archaeology, I can think of no cases of radioactive decay being used to date fossils. They don't date fossils by potassium-argon dating or carbon dating. That's not how they do it. Radiometric dating would not even be possible if the geologic column had not been erected first. There's no way simply to look at a fossil and say how old it is unless you know the age of the rocks it comes from. This is Niles Eldredge, one of the most famous evolutionists alive today. He said, and this poses something of a problem. Yeah, something poses a big problem, Niall. If we date the rocks by the fossils, how can we then turn around and talk about patterns of evolutionary change through time in the fossil record? Circular reasoning. This guy said the rocks do date the fossils, but the fossils date the rocks more accurately. I think the cheese done fell out of his sandwich. That's what I think. Okay, he's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Stratigraphy cannot avoid this kind of reasoning if it insists on using only temporal concepts because circularity is inherent. You have to use circular reasoning to get it right. Well, that's stupid. And you don't need to be too bright to figure out that's stupid, okay? It's based on circular reasoning, okay? This guy said the charge of circular reasoning can be handled several ways. It can be ignored as not the proper concern of the public. It can be denied by calling down the law of evolution. It can be admitted as a common practice or avoided by pragmatic reasoning. But it is all based on circular reasoning. This geologic column contains limestone scattered all throughout the geologic column.
All right. I actually think this was very timely after the brainwashing part, how one page says date the rocks from the index fossils, and then the next page says the opposite, and nobody notices. So it's just so nuts. Oh, hello. Am I alone here?
No, you're not alone. I was thinking the same thing. Kent Hovind sums it up the best, though.
And you see that they're saying we can either ignore it, we can excuse it through evolution, or bypass it like completely. I mean, that's why I'm getting fed up with people that insist. Like, if you call yourself a scientist, your job to claim that name is to look into what you are preaching. Because if you don't, then you are advocating a religion because it's based on the fact that you believe that they do it. But if you don't look into it, and that's not even about carbon dating that I was looking for and how it doesn't work. So anyway, one more day.
Was that all from Kent you wanted to play?
Oh, yeah. I think about what we've heard. We've heard about the geologic column from Mark. We heard a couple of things that I think got addressed with that short clip. And well, what else to do, man? I mean, they will keep on insisting. Instead, they don't realize that we've woken up to the truth and we are trying to wake them up. We're not here to debate the textbooks. We've had the same textbooks. It's not like, oh, you have a textbook. Oh my God, I believed in Jesus because I didn't have a textbook.
No, I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah, oh my God. I have, like, you want me to count them? I don't have as many as Kent Hovind does. But a couple of those that he shows are the ones that were given to me in the university. But I had a very bad habit, and I regret it now. I was giving them away as used to the library.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wanted the next textbook, I would take the used instead and then, return it for the next student. But that's a big part of being in a university, having the textbooks and keeping them, I miss that. I don't have a biology textbook. I know I have a physics textbook. I have a calculus. I have geometry. There are a couple. I have American history. I'm very proud of that one.
You have the algebra textbook and geometry?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have them close by?
Want to start a fire?
I was going to ask, is it cold there?
I have some yoga books for when it's cold.
You need to put those algebra and geometry and yoga books all together. It's all witchcraft.
That's a lot of paper.
When you put letters in math, you change it. It's not math anymore. It's witchcraft.
Yeah, but if the Ice Age comes, which is the actual future, a mini Ice Age, I have 3 different versions of the Bhagavad Gita. I have the Upanishads, so I'll start with those. I'll keep my cherished textbooks for last. I just want my Bible. That's all I want. I want the Bible.
We have a question from David in the audience. He says, just one quick question for the Christians. If you're supposed to all be supposed to be all about the truth, why all the lies? I'm not sure which lies you're referring to, David. Would you like to? I posted the link, and you're welcome to come on and tell us what lies we're talking about. Achilles, any guesses as to what he could be referring to?
No, I was just rubbing my hands, waiting for him to join.
Well, I posted the link again. David, you're welcome to come defend yourself.
Yeah, because
I don't know, but I try to make a habit of not speaking the devil's language. So
the devil's language is lies.
My 7-year-old, she'll come to you and be like, "Don't lie. You don't want to speak the devil's language."
Something atheists don't realize yet, and a 7-year-old knows it already. Good
Amen.
job.
Amen.
From the mouth of babes.
Amen. That's all right. My 7-year-old's also the one that told me, "Mommy, if they want to kill me, I'm ready to die for my Jesus."
Amen.
Amen.
But they're not gonna get to her. We're here. They're gonna have to get up to us first.
Well, you're in Greece, so you're gonna have to come to the U.S.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you.
Yes, Achilles. What I'm saying.
I'm gonna let you be responsible. I'm gonna have you as a representative.
Why won't you come back to the
U.S.? No, I actually.
The way we say it here, you say, "Steve, handle my light work."
Yep. After getting out of the US, I had this feeling that now that I woke up, I was beginning to wake up. I wasn't even a Christian yet. But I had this terrible feeling that now that you realized what Greece means, the plane will crash. You will not get back. I was like so anxious. And when I came back, I just made a promise that I'm never going to leave this country again. I've traveled. I mean, I've been to many countries. So
you could take a cruise though. You could definitely take a cruise to come visit.
Yeah,
and they're cheap. They're so cheap.
A cruise would take forever.
No, it wouldn't. A cruise would take like a week, maybe if that.
A week in a ship. I would get to see some whales. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but there's a bunch to do. It's not like you're just on, like a 20-foot yacht. No, this is like a ship.
Which reminds me, I have a picture of a whale from the airplane coming to the US. I looked down and I saw a whale surfaced on the surface. So I took the picture, my camera, and I took a picture of it. And that interesting. Useless info of the day.
I appreciated that though.
The only whale I've ever seen, it was from pretty far, but I saw it.
You know what? I've never seen a real whale.
Oh.
But I've woken up and found a horse in my backyard. And I have found an alligator in a backyard before.
I lived for a little while in New Jersey,
I just had a wolf try to come through my sliding glass door.
Oh.
I believe that.
Big old wolf tried to fight with my pit bull through the window, through the glass.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Man. Hey, are you having a problem with the pythons there yet?
No.
Well, they're
I haven't
headed
seen no
your way.
pythons.
The infestation of pythons is moving your way.
Oh, Lord.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, it's spreading from the Everglades, and they say within the next 10 years they'll be invasive here in Georgia too.
Well,
I don't know about that because y'all get so much snow. They're
It
warm-blooded
doesn't really
creatures.
snow here.
Oh, no.
Mm-mm.
We've had a venomous snake epidemic the past couple of years here in Greece. Like they were coming out of everywhere, and they were vipers. So that was dangerous. One woman only got bitten, and she was a snake handler. But other than that, we didn't have any other accidents. They were coming out of everywhere, though. So I find that as a sign, as an omen, because it hasn't been. It's not very usual. I mean, we have vipers, but you know, not getting in your car and seeing it coming out of your windshield. So. I think you shouldn't be afraid of something that's going to happen in 10 years, because my personal belief is that we don't even have 10 years to go. It's less than that. And Brother Stephen, I remember the number 2030, but I don't remember the rest of the name of that documentary.
It's called Messiah 2030.
Messiah 2030. Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think that timeline's it lines up pretty well with what they present.
It lines up so well, it's scary.
I heard I missed a really good show yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, we had your friend Shayna, yes.
She was so touched and so moved, and she's like, Tabitha, everything you've been telling me, they were talking about last night.
Yes, my dear, do check it out. It was the first part, half of it is the study that Stamp made. But after that, we got into a potential Antichrist and some things that have taken place. So check it out. You might find it very interesting.
Also, cuz you and Shayna especially, I want you, if you can, to check out our Monday shows, because it's kind of our ladies' day. We have a ladies' show at 4 p.m. Anyone can come on, but it's led by our sister Awake, and we encourage ladies to go hang out there.
I like her.
Yeah, and then at 7 o'clock we have a ladies' ministry that meets, and they do a lot of good healing over there. That starts at 7 Eastern time. So two shows on Monday.
What show are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow, Hart is going to be doing something.
Who is?
Is he? Me.
I thought, yeah, you volunteered earlier because Jordan isn't doing something. He canceled his show until next week, and you said you've got this. You don't remember that?
Oh, yeah. It's the hour of the day that I keep forgetting things that you say I said. So, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to sleep on it for now.
You still remember that you said you would lend me like 1,300 euros, though, right?
He didn't tell you that because he was talking to me, Steve.
Oh, he told you the same thing?
No, he was talking to me. You just thought he was talking to you.
Oh, well, just, you know what, man? Just split the difference between the two of us.
It must be something with my coffee because I keep forgetting wrong coffee.
Okay. But we'll probably have some sort of show tomorrow. Why? Are you free tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't have to work or anything, you know.
All right. Well,
if I could participate.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Should I start with it?
We'll try to do a show earlier in the day, and we'll go backstage beforehand, and we'll go on video, and I'll let the girls talk and play with Bobby.
Okay. They'll like that.
Yeah.
They'll like that a lot.
So what time is comfy for you two?
Coffee?
What?
Comfortable, comfy.
Let me ask you this, because it's like, what, 4 a.m. there for you?
Right now, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's 5:30.
What is it?
5:30.
It's 5:30 a.m. Okay, what time are you going to wake up?
Probably in 7 hours from now.
Okay, 7 hours from now.
Well, just to answer the question, on a daily basis, my coffee is at 5:30 in the morning. But on the Sabbath, it's more like 8.
5:30. I go to bed at that time.
That's what time I get up to take my kids or get my kids ready for school and everything. So
Yeah. How is the hour that I usually start the shows, Stephen?
It's gonna be 11 hours from now. Is 9 a.m.
Okay.
Well, it's 10 hours and 33 minutes.
All right. You know what? Schedule it, and I'll wake up tomorrow, check the time, and if for some reason I can't, I'm gonna take it 1 hour later or something like that.
What do you want to call it?
That's why I said let me sleep on it, because I don't know. I would actually, if Yasom is gonna be there and bring Shayna too, maybe we should discuss a little bit about how the absence of God brings depression, and how depression is the #1 killer right now in the world. So we need to start moving about that. So I'm just saying, if you enjoy that, or if you have any other subject, just do it, and I'm down. You know, I won't have to do all the talking. There will be people in there, so I'm fine with it. Whatever.
Okay, I'll come up with something.
Other suggestions I could do the dismantling evolution #2. I don't even have to do any research on the subject. You probably don't want the controversial subjects that I can do.
Yeah, probably not. Not right now.
That's why I'm leaving it to you. So you and Yosom figure out something, and I'll start it.
All right. We'll come up with something.
Or you can just call it Lions Den or something like that.
You know what? I might take the easy way out and just do that. Yeah, probably will. And that's probably going to be a thing.
And since we had a discussion on dreams, if I get any inspiration as I go to bed, I'll change the title and put a thumbnail, and it's going to have a different subject. So
it's funny to me that you said the Lion's Den, though, because I was just talking with somebody about, my friend was complaining that we have to go through so much as believers, and it seems like the sinners seem to come out unscathed almost. They're more successful financially and this and that. And he was just kind of complaining and venting. And it just came upon me, and I told him, I was like, what's funny about that is God didn't stop Daniel from being thrown in the lion's den, but he did shut their mouth. He didn't allow them to be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
He did allow Jacob to be sold into slavery, but he didn't let him suffer his whole life locked away in a cell. He had bigger plans for him. So he doesn't ever tell us that we're going to get out unscathed, or we won't have to go through these trials or tribulations, but he does promise to be with us through them. So it just reminded me of that when you said that about the title.
Yes, and all we have to do is just be faithful, remain faithful, and if it's to be a miracle, it will be a miracle. But
Amen.
if we are afraid of his will, we'll never know. So I'm down with everything you guys would like the show to be about. I can start it, and then, the Spirit leads.
Amen.
I've already created it, my friend.
Okay, let me see that. And I'm about to bounce off. Go check on my pup. Right.
We're all about to end this thing.
I
So
love you
everybody,
guys. I'm glad I caught you. It was good talking to everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night. God bless.
I love you too. And you guys be sure to go like and subscribe to us if you're not already. And scroll down a little bit while you're on our homepage and like and subscribe Proverbs Guys Part 2 YouTube
I'm sorry,
channel.
I did mean Joseph Luke. Thank you for that correction. That is exactly what I meant, but I'm glad you caught it.
Amen. All right. Well, go ahead.
I put that up. That we have another channel because YouTube is acting a little weird. So if you guys don't want to miss our shows in case something happens to this channel, this is the backup channel. So please subscribe there. And by the way, Stephen, our shows are going live there.
Yes, they are.
They are, and it only has like we just created it, and it has like less than 10 subscribers, but the videos are going live. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So I'm about to bounce. I'll